Hi everybody! In this video we're going to be talking about our camp routine. And if you remember, the camp routine challenge is actually a challenge you'll find here in number 2. It's this little badge here, which on the badges sheet is this one here that accidentally got put into week 1 instead of week 2. So in this particular challenge that we are trying to earn our badge for, we are talking specifically about building our camp routine. So what does that mean when I say a camp routine? It means that you are building your camp activity into your day-to-day life. It means that you are scheduling time, and it's not just this kind of like fun thing I do when I have time. I've actually made time for it. I've put it in. And if you work outside the home, ways of incorporating camp into your life is using your lunch break, a regular break, before work, getting there a little earlier, to do that. And even if it's just sitting in your car before work or sitting in the break room, or sitting at your desk quietly if you can before work, and just at least taking the time to, bring your handbook. Take the time to review something that you felt like you couldn't cover at home. Watch a video on your phone if you can. You can visit your Pinterest boards and use that for some self-care time. So you're going to make time somewhere in your busy day to spend time at camp. At night, morning, wherever you can fit that in, but you're going to schedule it in your planner. It's part of your day, just like showing up for work. Even if it's 5 minutes, it's something, because the last thing you want to do is let days go by without having a connection to what we're doing in here, because this was your investment, and I would hate for you to waste this opportunity and be able to do that. So I know some of the people go on vacation during this time, and that's great. If you can, bring some of your Camp Reset materials with you so that you can do that. One of the things that we're going to do in this little session is we're going to actually use one of our habit cards and turn it into a Camp Reset routine. The great thing about the habit cards is they're totally mobile. They don't need an internet connection. You have them right there on paper. So this is a great way to you can fill a couple of them out if you have to, for the same thing, and just tuck one into your planner. Keep one by your bedside, wherever you are more likely to look at things as part of your Camp Reset time. You can leave it in your Camp Reset space. But this is just about building the habit of always showing up for camp. I pay attention to comments in the community center when I can, and I notice that some people will say things like, I feel like I'm behind. I feel like I don't know what's going on. And it's not a lot of people, but it's a few people. And I'm hoping that things like this is like, you have to stay engaged in what's happening. Your handbook, the community center, is one separate entity. And if we just set that aside and we're just focused on our camp routine, and we're just looking at what we are doing at home in the quiet and private of our own little space, your book is its own little guide. So following up and looking at your checklist here, this will walk you through everything that you're going to do in your week 2 mailbox as a reminder. And then you have these videos. So part of your habit of setting up camp is deciding, like, every time the content goes live, you can say, Sunday morning, first thing, I'm going to spend that time watching my videos. Maybe I'll do it before church, after church, but pick a day where you are most likely able to at least spend a good hour, possibly 2 hours, focused on camp. So being on the website, you might want to decide, like, just stay away from the community center for this time because it can be very distracting to you. Stay focused on this part for now, and that's just going through your videos, taking time to look through your book, review what the challenges are. The challenges actually guide you to do the things that help you stay successful. So setting up your camp and your self-care kit, those are things you're going to want to dive into when you have a little bit of time on your hands. So I'm going to do my camp routine. So I have more freedom than probably a lot of campers do, where I can pick and choose where I do my camp. And if I stop in the middle of the day and I want to just do camp, then I certainly have that ability. For those of us who have that, that's wonderful, and you should take full advantage of it. But if you work outside the home, and I did the majority of my life, I often did things before work and during my lunch break. I took full use of that lunch break and did, little activities, because I was also going to school for like the last year I was at a company. And so I incorporated my schoolwork into my lunch hour. So it can be done. It's a matter of choosing and to do that. And I certainly I encourage you to try it a few times a week at the minimum, and make that your special camp time. If you find it's just too difficult when you come home from work to be able to focus, because then you have other responsibilities. The camp routine, as I imagine it, is really about, as we talk about this, is about watching videos. It's visiting your cabin. So it's spending time in your little self-care space that you've set up. So for me, my camp routine is I want to make sure that I have, let's say I spend 30 minutes in my cabin. And I want to do that every single day. Okay. So minimum 30 minutes in my cabin, minimum. And that could be doing anything I want to do in that time period. I can look at magazines. I can read a book. I can just lay there and close my eyes, put on a playlist on my phone, and just listen to music. Whatever that is, it's like your nap time, your free time, your downtime, whatever that looks to you. So I want to make sure I do that 30 minutes every day, which would be really weird, but because I spend a lot of hours sitting here at my desk working, but I want to make that happen. The other thing I want to do during my camp routine is I want to make sure that I have experienced camp just like you guys do. So I want to do some of the activities that I am suggesting you do. So I want to do is complete my weekly activity as outlined on the website. Fortunately, because I'm filming these videos, it's actually making me complete activities, which I didn't get to do hardly any of that last year. So that's really fun, is that the videos themselves kind of make me do different things, which I love. So yeah, I'm getting a taste more of things, and I'm like, wow, I really want to come back to this. Oh, and speaking of, I want to, listers got a list. Okay, so I'm going to set, when I have set a time limit for myself, I'm actually going to set a timer. And I want to do 15 minutes of that every day. And then what else do I want to do that's also crafty and fun? So I want to work on my vision boards, because I love vision board. So vision board crafting, and my art journaling, which is another fun thing. So those, one or both of those. And I want to do that another 30 minutes per day. And I want to make sure, I want to go through, I want to do my checklist. So I want to review and complete my checklist. So on that one, I'm going to say twice a week, I'm going to touch base with myself on that. So it goes live on Saturday. So every Saturday I would be doing that. And then I'm going to check in on, I'm going to have it all finished up by Wednesday. So Saturdays and Wednesdays I will review my checklist, that I'm actually doing these things. Maybe not watching the videos necessarily, but the other things like the actual activities. I want to make sure. I want to earn some badges, people. Okay, and so I'm also got that habit. So think through the different activities that we're doing and decide like how your camp routine is going to work. Are you going to like listen to a playlist? Are you going to spend time like community center time? So I actually am spending more time in the community center than is helping me right now. So I want to actually cut back, and I want to do 1 hour per day. See where I'm going with this? Think about all the touch points. There's the website, there's the handbook, and there's the community center. And so between the three of those things, that is what makes up camp. So I'm just hitting all of those things. There's a lot of fun activities here, and I wanted to make my crafting and creating more of a focus for my self-care. So that's why mine are pretty heavy on things like that. So just consider like your time, like your actual downtime, not plugged into anything, not being on the website or in the book, just your actual self-care time. So is that like I'm going to go for like an evening walks? Am I going to go make some memories with like plan a fun day of just doing me things that you want to do, take your camera and take pictures so that you can put it in your camp scrapbook. It's like, where are your self-care adventures coming from as well, and making sure you always have something. So to that point, I'm going to pick a self-care activity. Three times a week. Now, the self-care master list is back here in the book, so you can pick something from this list. Probably be easier if I just looked it up, but I just saw something in there. I want to do my weekly pages too. I want to do weekly pages 3 times a week also. I want to not do it all at once, but kind of like do it. Make sure that I do it. My self-care list ideas are on 54. This book is so fun. I love my book. I can't wait to like make it more fun. And that reminds me right there. See, look, weekly pages. I'm going to spend them 3 times a week. Self-care activity 3 times a week. One of those activities is handbook fun. And just so I don't forget, I'm actually going to add that to my list, is play, create in my handbook. I want to get like paint on the pages. I want to add more washi to the edges. I want to get my dividers made. So to me, that is definitely part of self-care. And then I'm going to go ahead and mark, again, I'm going to mark the pages, mark the dates that I'm actually going to do my self-care activity. So Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday are going to be my days for that. Weekly pages, same thing, because they're related to the same thing. I'm going to keep them together so they make sense. Okay, so there's my camp routine so far. I know that next week, we're going to be incorporating a new theme into it. So far, this is going to be what we've established, and then I'm going to add additional things like next week I'll start adding in some of my self-care time for like prepping my food, my little snacks. That's going to be super fun, getting myself water all prepped the night before. So that's going to be part of, being at camp. And then the following week will be another week of themes that I'll just keep adding, if that makes sense. So use one of your habit cards to kind of create your camp routine and what that looks like. So I'm going to spend no more than 1 hour per day in the community center, and then doing self-care activities 3 times a week, which will include doing fun stuff in my handbook. That's going to be important to me. I want to do my weekly pages too, making sure I actually journal. I'm actually doing all this fun stuff that I have in here that I set up, like the memory keeping, because I actually want to do at least one scrapbook layout. And then Blister's got a list. So everything I have here is pretty crafty creating is going to be a big theme for me. And if it's like that for you, then consider, your boards this way, and keep a timer so that you're actually like, I'm going to do this, because at first it might feel, if it's not something you're if it's an activity that you're not familiar with or struggle with in any way, it's going to make you want to find reasons to quit and be distracted. So I would encourage you to get a timer and at least try and give yourself time to make it a habit. So here's my initial camp routine. And there's other habit cards that you can print more if you need to and adjust it. But start with something. Once you complete your little camp routine, getting it set up, and then start implementing it, that will give you the ability to badge yourself, and you will get the camp routine badge. So I'm expecting to see some campers with that little badge in their book. I got my camp routine all set up. I think I'm going to give myself at least a week to get it down before I give myself my badge. But there it is, the coveted badge. And I certainly want you to win one too. So there's a little picture of your handbook and how you got yourself your little routine set up. This is probably something I'm going to keep at my desk and up here, because I spend most of my day sitting here working. So I will make sure to keep track of it, because it will be visibly here in front of me. So I encourage you to do the same thing. I hope this was helpful. I encourage you to get your badge. We have 2 badges this week to earn, and it's going to be a lot of fun to kind of use these tools. This is a new addition to Camp Reset, and that we'll be able to share them in the group. There will be a special post for sharing your tracker and your habit cards, so that you can be accountable, and we all want to see what everyone else is doing so we can encourage each other. So good luck, campers. See you in the next video. Bye, everybody.